Today we begin our unit on cellular energy. We are going to begin with discussing how photosynthesis works. Before we get into photosynthesis, we need to discuss and review a few of the things that we've covered in the past, including the law of conservation of matter. The law of conservation of matter states that matter cannot be created or destroyed. It can't change forms, but it cannot be created or destroyed. We also need to discuss and review the law of conservation of energy. The law of conservation of energy states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can change forms. Energy can be transferred from one organism or one thing to another. So we have energy from the sun being transferred to plants for photosynthesis. This is something that we saw in our food webs and food chains in ecology, where energy is passed from one source to another. Something else we need to review are the terms autotroph and heterotroph. Autotrophs are organisms that make their own food. Heterotrophs, also known as consumers, are organisms that need to eat in order to obtain their energy. So, animals, protists, those things are heterotrophs. They need to consume something in order to obtain their energy. Generally, the steps of photosynthesis are: energy is captured from sunlight. Sunlight is converted to chemical energy, which is stored in ATP, NADPH, and the electron transport chain. The chemical energy stored in ATP and NADPH is used to make organic compounds like sugars, our sugars like glucose, or what we commonly refer to as carbohydrates and starches. There are a few important things to remember about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis uses carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, which is why there's such a strong relationships between plants and animals, because the plants use the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. They use the carbon dioxide that organisms like humans and other animals exhale. Photosynthesis occurs in the chloroplast of our plant cells, and it will also occur in a type of protist called algae. And it does occur in some of our prokaryotes, and in those prokaryotes, it will occur in the cell membrane. So a little bit about the chloroplast. In our chloroplast, there are stacks. There are stacks of thylakoids. One stack of thylakoids is called a grana. The space in between are called the stroma. Please, in your notes, draw this diagram and label it. This is the formula for photosynthesis. It is 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O plus sunlight yields C6H12O6 plus 6 O2. What we're going to do is we are going to break this down and discuss each part of the chemical equation of photosynthesis in a little bit more detail. So, we're going to begin with the 6 CO2. CO2 is carbon dioxide, and this is the gas that we exhale. C is the chemical symbol for carbon, O is the chemical symbol for oxygen, di means 2. The 6 in front means that there are 6 carbon dioxide molecules in the reaction. So we have in CO2, we have 1 carbon atom and 2 oxygen atoms. And the 6 in front means that there are 6 of those molecules. Now we're going to look at the 6H2O in the chemical equation. H2O is water. The H stands for hydrogen. The O, again, stands for oxygen. Technically, we could say dihydrogen monoxide, and that would technically be correct, being that we have 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Again, the 6 in front means that there are 6 water molecules in this reaction. The next part of our chemical equation is light energy. Light energy usually refers to the energy from the sun. When we look at the arrow sign means yield. And it means basically this is what you are going to get. C6H12O6 in our chemical equation is our first product. Remember, the stuff before the arrow is called the reactants. The things found after the arrow are called our products. The first product, that what we get, is 1 molecule of sugar. That sugar is glucose. A molecule of sugar, or glucose, is made up of 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen atoms. Next, we're going to look at that 6O2. O2 is pure oxygen. There are 6 molecules of oxygen that are created with this reaction. Photosynthesis maintains the level of oxygen in the atmosphere and supplies most of the energy for life on Earth. If we look at humans, again, this is where our relationship comes in. Humans need oxygen from the plants, and plants need carbon dioxide from the other organisms. So there is a symbiotic relationship here. Photosynthesis uses energy from the sun to convert water into water and CO2 into oxygen and sugar. Again, remember that sugar that we are discussing is glucose. There are 2 parts to photosynthesis. There are light-dependent reactions, and then the Calvin cycle, which are our dark reactions. Light reactions are a group of reactions that occur in the gram inside the green plastid, as it contains the chlorophyll pigments, and the light is the limiting factor for the rate of photosynthesis. Plastids are a group of double membrane-bound organelles found in almost all types of cells in plants and algae. And they are also in some of our higher organisms as well. Calvin cycle, the dark reactions. Dark reactions, or enzymatic reactions, is a group of reactions that occur in the stroma of the chloroplast, in which the temperature is the limiting factor for the rate of photosynthesis. So these reactions can occur in both light and darkness because they are not dependent on the light. What I would like you to do now is I would like you to label the diagram within your notes just like what you see here. And this is showing our light and dark reactions. Our light reactions are where we have our sunlight that is necessary for those to occur. And our Calvin cycle does not need light for it to occur. Complete the table in your notes with the following information. It's important to remember in light-dependent reactions, water goes in, and what comes out is oxygen and occurs in the thylakoids. In light-independent reactions, or the Calvin cycle, or the dark reactions, carbon dioxide goes in, glucose comes out, and it takes place in the stroma. Again, this is the basics of photosynthesis occurring in your plant cells